Hello everyone and welcome to Journey with the Kellers again. My name is Amanda Keller and we're back in the Keller kitchen. So today we're starting another new cookbook. I know, too many cookbooks, but I can't help it. Today we're going to be doing Tasting of History. So this basically is a cookbook about historical recipes, which is pretty cool. So this very first one that we're going to be starting with is coming from ancient Babylonian, and it basically is called Stew of Lamb. So, pretty excited to do this, so let's see how it comes out. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 425 degrees. All right, while that's warming up, we're going to go ahead and make what they call risotto. I'm not sure how you say that, but it's basically kind of like a barley bread, and we'll see how we make that here. Okay, so first you're going to need some barley flour. Okay. You're going to need 1 cup of barley flour. I have never seen barley flour. Kind of looks like regular flour. Just a little bit, maybe grainier, kind of off-whitish. Okay, so a cup of barley flour. And then also a half a teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, that's a tablespoon, half a teaspoon. Okay, and you're gonna mix those up together. Okay. After you've got those mixed up, then you're going to need a third cup of water. Here's that, and also a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. So let's put the water in and then the extra virgin olive oil in. All right, 1/4 cup of that. And then you're going to mix this together. And it says not to knead this, so it's not that kind of a bread. You don't need to knead it. You just need to mix it together. Okay. So now once you've got it all mixed together, which it looks like it just about is right now. There we go. All right, you're going to form it into little cakes. And you're going to make them several inches across and as thin as possible. So it says to get them down to about 1/4 of an inch. And then you're going to set those on the pan. So we'll go across here. Okay. And it says just to make sure that they're not too thin, like they don't get holes in them or anything else. Okay. There's one. Not sure how many this is going to make. Kind of put it on there, it kind of just spreads out. Kind of nice. Okay. Nice and thin. 2. 3. 4. 5. And my oven's not quite up to temperature yet, so I'm going to have to wait to put these in. And what you're going to do is you're going to put these into the oven and you're going to bake them for, let me make sure I have this correctly, for 25 minutes. And then you're going to shut the oven off and let the oven cool down with these inside of them so that they'll dry out. And then once that's all done, we'll come back and I'll show you where we go from there. See you in a little bit. Okay, everybody, so we have baked our risotto or risnata, I don't know how you say that. And we're back. So basically what you're going to do is take 2/3 of the barley bread that you just made, and you're going to crumble it up really small, make little pieces out of it. The other 1/3 you're going to make bigger chunks. Now, I think mine might be burnt a little, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's supposed to look this dark, maybe it's not. I don't know. So we'll have to wait. Hopefully it won't affect the lamb too much. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do is we're gonna make the actual stew. So we're gonna add just a little bit of olive oil to a pan here. Okay, and you're gonna heat that up. There we go. And then you're going to dice up 1 large onion, and you're gonna add that to the pan. So let me grab those onions. Okay. Okay, and that in there. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, so you're going to cook these up, stirring them frequently until they start to brown, which they say will take about 7 minutes. While this is going, you can also go ahead and start your meat. So you're going to go add like a tablespoon, it says of sheep fat, but you could also use extra virgin olive oil. So we're going to go ahead and put a tablespoon of that in there and get that started. And you need a little bit of a bigger pan, not just a skillet for this part. So we'll get that going. Oh, always turn on the wrong burner. There we go. Okay, and then you're going to add your chopped lamb. You need to chop it into bite-sized pieces, about 1 pound of it.
Man, I feel like a waste of weekend.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and put that in there. Get it cooking. I'll wash my hands.
What do you want? Where are you? Just over there.
And my husband is playing a computer game, so if you hear him shouting in the background, that's what he's shouting about. So, anyways.
What do you want?
All right, so we're gonna let that lamb go ahead and brown up. You're gonna sear it on the all sides of it. And while we're also browning up these onions.
Yes, I'm dead.
All right, need another spoon here to stir the lamb up. Okay, now, so we're just gonna wait for these to get done, and then after that we'll be combining some more things into it to make the stew. Now, just to give you a little bit of a background information, and since this is on a history of cooking, this comes from ancient Babylonian, and it's really funny that they say that this has wheat and sheep in it, or lamb, whatever you want to call it, at the same time, because they actually didn't always get along. So back a long time ago when people first started on this earth, they ate grass and rocks and they went around naked. They didn't have any clothing, but supposedly the gods at the time were eating it up and having a good old time and had all this stuff. And they decided that they really didn't like wheat or sheep, so they gave them to the humans. Now, of course, the humans had been just eating grass and all of that, so they weren't picky about their flavors. So they thought it was great, and they made all kinds of stuff out of it. But unfortunately, at some point, grain and sheep started an argument between which one of them was better. And grain gave reasons why they were better, and sheep gave reasons why they were better. And they couldn't solve it, so they went to the gods and asked them. And of course, instead of the gods just saying that we love you equally or anything like that, they told was it the sheep? Let me make sure I'm getting this right. They told, let's see, the grain is greater than sheep, and that the sheep should be bowing down to the grain. So I guess so they didn't get along. So this is a recipe that actually both are in it together and actually combine together to make a really good food. So I just thought that was kind of a funny little history story about ancient Babylonian and the gods and stuff from back then. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to sear this lamb and cook the onions. And as soon as I get that all done, I'll be right back and we'll go on and do the next steps. Okay, so the lamb is getting nice and seared up here, and also I forgot to tell you to make sure you add a teaspoon of salt to your lamb. So once you get it all nice and seared up, you're gonna take a quart of hot water, very hot water, and pour it in with the lamb.
No.
Okay, and let that stay in there. Let's see. Okay, and then you're gonna add a little bit more salt. So you're gonna add another teaspoon of salt. Looks good. And let's see how much extra virgin olive oil. Oh, and a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Yeah. Let me use this. Okay, and you put that in there as well. Okay. Okay, so then you're gonna bring this to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer and let it cook for 5 minutes. Okay, so let's keep doing that. And in the meantime, we're still waiting for our onions to brown up. So it's good that they have you kind of do this at the same time. It gives you time to get the onions done, and then by the time the onions are done, it's about time to add them in. All right, so we'll be right back as soon as we get to that point. All right, you guys, so our lamb has simmered now for 5 minutes, and we're gonna go ahead and add our browned onions to that. Okay. Put that in there. Then you're gonna also add a 1/4 cup of a Persian chalet that's been chopped up. Now it does give you a tip that the Persian chalet usually comes dried. You can soak it in a bowl of water for 30 minutes and then it'll kind of rehydrate it. So we're gonna put that in there. And then the last thing, let's see, one more. Oh yes, and then your really, really tiny crumbled up risotto crumbs, you're gonna put that in there, okay? You're going to stir that all together. Okay, and again, you're going to let it come to a simmer and then simmer it for 20 minutes. Now, while that is simmering, if you have a mortar and pestle, which I have a very tiny one, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work, you're going to take 4 to 5 garlic cloves and a 1/2 cup of chopped leeks, and you're going to put it together. You're going to do the garlic cloves in the mortar first to make kind of like a paste, and then after you get all the garlic cloves done, you're gonna go ahead and put the leeks in as well, and it says that the leeks won't make a paste, and then you're gonna add that into the stew pot. So while I get these they're not gonna crush up very well. While I get these nice and all crushed up, we'll be back as soon as that's all done, and I'll be back to add it into the pot. I almost forgot, you got to add the milk too. So you can either do 2 cups of sheep milk, which is what it recommends, or you can do goat or cow milk. I have cow milk, so we're going to add that in there too. Okay, now we let it cook for 20 minutes. All right, we'll be back as soon as I get these crushed up here. Okay, you guys, so I couldn't get the mortar and pestle to work, so I cheated and kind of grinded it up, but that's okay. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and add this into the pot here. I'm gonna need a spatula for that. And then mix it, and then mix it and continue to cook it for your 20 minutes. And then after our first 20 minutes is up, we'll be back and we'll see where we go from there.
What?
All right, that. Okay, we'll be right back after that's all done. All right, you guys, so after this has been simmering for 20 minutes and you've added your garlic and leek and all of that to it, you're just gonna kind of check it and see if it's at a thickness or an amount that you want. If it's too thick for you, you can go ahead and add a little bit more milk and stuff like that. And if you would like a little bit more broth, then you could add more milk too, just to get a little bit more broth. So after that is done, and you've got it all checked and you think it's in good shape, you just go ahead and cover the pot, and you're going to cook it again for another 20 to 30 minutes until the lamb is nice and tender. And then we'll be back to give it a try and see how it tastes. And once it is done too, these bigger risotto risotto, I don't know how you say it. These bigger ones you're gonna put on top as like a topping. You can also chop up some leeks, some more leek, and have that as a little topping on it too. Okay, so we'll be back as soon as that next 20 to 30 minutes is up. All right, you guys, so our stew is nice and done. Our lamb is nice and tender. And we're gonna go ahead and try it here. Let's give it a good stir up. Now, once again, I'm not usually a huge fan of certain soups. I am actually a fairly picky eater, but that's okay. I am willing to try new things, and we're gonna put some of the risotto on there. All right, so let's try this. See if we like it. Let's get a little bit of lamb on there. It's very hot, just came off the oven. Very hot. Okay. The lamb is super soft. It's not real chewy or gamey or anything like that. It's almost like a seasoned lamb instead of just a stew. It's not real brothy. It's a little bit grainy, if you can see that. See how grainy that kind of looks? It's really, really enjoyable. I really like it. I think you guys will like this too. All right, so this is our stew of lamb from the Babylonian era. And I think this is really cool. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, give a like and subscribe. If not, I apologize. All right, so you guys all have a good day or night and enjoy your cooking. Bye.